How's it going, you guys? Happy 4th of July. Hope you all are doing great. So, I wanted to make an update video talking about my next experiment. So basically, I just finished doing an entire month of Mucuna Purins. I also tried like a week of a repeat diet, and it was just the most ridiculous thing ever. So that means, repeat diet means high carbs, no PUFA, polyunsaturated fatty acids, lots of orange juice and milk, and I did all of his signature things, and it was ridiculous. But I already made a video about that. And so I did Mucuna for an entire month, and it was making me very tired, and I didn't realize it until it kind of hit me that every time I took Mucuna, it made me want to take a nap. And so I decided that I'm just going to remove all supplements besides magnesium, potassium, and salt, obviously. And I'm going to just do a strict ketogenic carnivore diet, and I'm going to mix in some fasting. And so basically, it's going to be like no supplements, no ashwagandha, no reishi mushroom, no mucuna. I'm just going to do fasting and carnivore and ketogenic macros. So basically, I'm planning on just eating nothing but red meat and suet, and then probably some cheese and butter. The reason why I'm sticking to red meat and suet and cheese and butter is because, honestly, I've known about the high, linoleic acid content of chicken for a very long time. And pork, sure, but it's not nearly as bad as chicken and vegetable oils. Basically, there's a lot of polyunsaturated omega-6 fats in pork and chicken, but in red meat, because cows actually have an enzyme that converts into stearic acid, that essentially beef, even conventionally raised grain-fed beef, has very low levels of linoleic acid, and also high amounts of stearic acid. And stearic acid seems to have these magical fat-burning properties. If you paid attention to that blog Fire in a Bottle last year, which I think I made a video about actually back in like November. But I've been following many different experts and their work on polyunsaturated fatty acids for years. It's not a new thing. But Paul Saladino just recently got on it. But I realize how important it is now to reduce linoleic acid, the 18-2 polyunsaturated fats, and consume more stearic acid and saturated fats in their place. So, keto, carnivore, fasting, no supplements, except for maybe like caffeine pills in the morning, and getting most of my fats from beef and ruminant fat, basically. So from saturated fats mostly, keeping the linoleic acid low, probably saying that wrong, and seeing where that goes. So, I did that experiment back in December of 2018 up until like February of 2019, where I was mostly carnivore, and pretty much all my fat and protein came from red meat, butter, and cheese. And there's something magical about that combination that makes you feel amazing. So some of my intentions with this experiment is mental clarity, euphoria, boosting my mood and cognition, boosting my energy to allow me to go long periods of time without food. Because I remember after about 6 weeks of staying in strict ketosis, my exercise performance goes up so much that I was doing hard sparring rounds, heavy bag rounds, and strength and conditioning 3 sessions a day during a 21-hour fast. Like, that's amazing. And so, I want to get back to that point, and I think I'm already there as long as I keep my sodium high. So greater sports performance, greater energy, less requirement for food throughout the day, better dental health, obviously. There was a dentist that was on Paul Saladino's podcast recently where he was talking about how, for one, he put cancer into remission on his ketogenic protocol, and for two, there were actually studies done on groups of humans where they had pre-existing gum disease, and one group continued to eat a standard American diet, and the other group just ate a whole foods diet without any refined foods whatsoever. Didn't even remove carbs, and all of them were told not to brush their teeth. So they did not do any dental hygiene throughout, I think it was like a 3-month period or something, or 12-week period. No brushing their teeth or anything like that. And what they found is the group that ate whole foods and no refined foods, despite not brushing, they had a reversal of gum disease. And the group that ate mostly the standard American diet, that continued to eat the standard American diet, they actually had a continuation of their gum disease. And they actually took they took bacterial swabs of the plaques on people's teeth in this study, and they found the plaques from the group that ate the whole food diet actually had very low levels of pathogenic bacteria, if any at all, whereas the other group still had a large amount of pathogenic bacteria that leads to tooth degeneration. So, if I eat a whole food carnivore diet, imagine that. Imagine the amount of dental health that I'm likely to get when I'm not eating carbs and I'm eating whole food, just meat, you know what I mean? So, to me, that's fascinating. And there's, hundreds of thousands of people who talk about how their dental health has improved, and they had horrible dental health before, or their teeth were rotting out. Then they switched to carnivore, and their dental problems went away completely. Not that I have horrible dental problems, other than my chipped tooth from jumping off the stairs, and some crooked teeth from getting punched in the face and stuff like that. But otherwise, I'm all right. So, also the increased vision that comes with deep ketotic states, when you're in deep ketosis, I notice my vision drastically improves. My, my mood improves, cognition improves, my productivity, my motivation improves. So, all of these things I was looking for with supplements, I can do with a ketogenic carnivore diet and fasting. So yeah, this whole year, I bet, I started off the year with like 4 months of ashwagandha and reishi mushroom. I did like a month of rhodiola, and then just recently a month where I took mucuna. And so far, there's been benefits, and you could definitely tell significant effects from these things. But today was like my first day where I had 0 supplements. Last night I didn't take any herbs or anything. Actually, yesterday I didn't take any herbs. Today's my second day of no herbs or supplements other than like mineral supplements. And I actually feel amazing today. Although, of course, there was some sadness and stuff that was always there. But other than that, I feel more alive and more like my brain is working better. I feel a lot more like myself, actually. Another thing I started doing today is making sure I get enough salt. Because yesterday I went on a run, and even though I still had some carbs in my system at that point yesterday, I was feeling super like dizzy and like I was gonna pass out, and like my vision was horrible. Like I felt like I was spaced out zombie, like in a dream. It was horrible. And so I quickly, when I got back from my run, I took a little bit of potassium along with a little bit of sodium, and I felt worse probably because of the potassium, because it lowers your blood pressure and antagonizes sodium. So then I took a whole teaspoon of salt, of regular sodium, and I felt way better. And I started to add more salt and more salt and more salt, and I cannot even begin to explain the difference that having 6 grams of sodium per day, that means 3 teaspoons of salt a day, makes on your overall well-being. And so I'm going to go back to my previous regimen where I would do a low dose of potassium in the morning with like a teaspoon of salt. And then I do a pretty good dose of magnesium before bed. And just keep the sodium intake consistent throughout the day. Because electrolytes, I've found, are extremely important and they make a huge difference on a ketogenic diet. And really any diet in general, if you don't have your electrolytes on point. So yeah, I just got done in the shower, so I figured I'd show my sexy body. Alright, so that's pretty much what's going on right now. Leave your question and comments down below and I'll talk to y'all very soon.